the turnovers on the plus side of the territory as well. So a lot to learn from. At the same time, you got to wash it, whether you win or lose, and you got to move on to the next one. We got a great opponent coming to town this week. You look at Georgia; they play extremely well. Smart football, physical football, all three phases of the game. They got dynamic playmakers in all three phases of the game as well. So a huge test for us, and we got to have a great week of preparation, get ready for these guys. I think it's the first time we've been back home for an SEC game inside Neyland Stadium in over a month. Looking forward to our fans, seeing them there on Saturday. Need a great atmosphere. Dolly's going to be there as well, so my mom will be excited about that one. All right. We'll open it up for questions.
Coach, you've referenced multiple times this year that you need to play smarter.
Yeah.
You talked about the penalties. How do you fix that? You guys have been penalized for 3 years pretty heavily. How do you fix the penalties?
Well, some of it, like personal accountability. Some of it, you look at some of the penalties on the offensive side of the football, the playing penalties, comes down to fundamentals and technique and body position. You do those things right, you have an opportunity to not have some of those things happen. Got to be smart at the end of play as well.
I know you guys have officials at every practice.
Yeah.
How closely is it flagged in practice? How much do you
Yeah, I mean, they pay attention to everything that's going on. They're there for a reason. The way you finish plays in practice isn't necessarily the same as a game.
How do you get the run game going again this weekend?
Yeah, part of it's the way the game ended and the type of scenario that you're playing out, but a bunch of it is, us doing a great job, communication, fundamentals, running backs pressing the hole, doing a good job of reading things too. It was a combination of all those things the other night.
Noticed a couple times in the first half, you elected to fair catch the kickoffs. Then in the second half, D took one about 7 or 8 yards deep. Kind of whose call is that? Is that yours? Is that Eckler's? Is that D's got the flexibility to do whatever he wants to back there? Kind of what goes through all that?
Yeah, we have an idea of what we're doing before we go out there, but then based on the kick too, there should be a decision that's made during the course of the play as well.
Coach, does it make it a little bit, I don't know if easier is the right word, but when you've got an opportunity game like this, play on national television against the number one, does that help the guys maybe put a game like that behind them because it is such a big opportunity?
Yeah, I think no matter what you do the previous week, you got to put the game behind you. Certainly, we understand the quality of the opponent that's coming to town this week. Our guys understand who they are, what they're about, and the way that they're going to play, and be a great test for us.
Coach, you got thinner at receiver during the game at Missouri. What did you think about the way the guys stepped up down the depth chart, and do you have an update on Dante?
Yeah, Dante will be out for the remainder of the regular season. We'll see where we're at as we get into postseason play. Young guys, there were some real positive things that they did during the course of the game. Chaz, Caleb, all in all, like a majority of what they did.
How much do you have to change offensively to compensate for the injuries at wide receiver? First Brew, then Dante. Can you really do anything scheme-wise this late in the year, replacing them?
Well, you're always going to subtly change your scheme based on what you're seeing structure-wise and personnel-wise on the other side. You always try to put those guys in a position where they can go win. And, in this one, there's a bunch of one-on-ones. It's going to be tight, contested coverage out on the outside. At the end of the day, they're going to have to go win some of those battles.
Josh, how would you assess where Elijah Herring is at right now, and what steps does he need to make, especially going into this football game?
Yeah, the other day I thought he got his eyes just caught in the wrong place on a couple of his reads. Missed a couple open field tackles, but he did some good things as well. He's a young player that's got to continue to grow. Need him to play extremely well on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, first look, what jumps out about Georgia's in terms of how they look compared with last year's team, personnel-wise, scheme-wise?
And they got really good players across the board. Defensively, thick, strong, athletic up front. They can run. They cover extremely well on the back end. They don't miss tackles. You see them in close quarters and in open space. They tackle extremely well. Offensively, they got dynamic playmakers. A few of those guys are just getting back and getting truly healthy right now. But the quarterback's playing extremely well, really efficient, been accurate. He's done a really nice job.
Several producers wanted me to ask you, does it bring any pressure knowing that Dolly's going to be there this week?
Anytime Dolly's going to be around, it certainly adds pressure, absolutely, to our performance. But truly, for Tennesseans, that's one that everybody will enjoy seeing.
Coach, Samir McDonald was another guy that got banged up. Do you have an update on him? And how did Jordan Thomas? He got a lot of run in the UConn game. How do you think he played in that star spot in that game?
Yeah, I thought Jordan did some positive things, was destructive, and made some plays out on perimeter. T-Mac got nicked up early in the football game. I do believe he'll have an opportunity to be ready for this one.
Coach, when you look at your third down defense, obviously you had a hard time getting off the field. What was it that they were doing, and how disappointing was the third and long inability to get off the field for your defense?
Inability to get off the field. Part of that was quarterback extending and making plays with his feet running and also scrambling and getting outside of the pocket. For us, you got to do a good job of applying pressure to him, too. You can't let him sit back there all day. But he broke contain on us. That was disappointing. Some of our games, our contained player didn't get there. He got up through the middle of the football field once or twice, too. We got to do a better job. That'll be big in this one, too. And we got to match things out on scramble drill.
Anything else, Coach? You said post-game that you were disappointed with the way that the team finished.
Yeah.
When you watched it on tape, what did you see, and what did you mean in terms of that? Was that one specific drive, or was it just the whole quarter? What was it?
Last couple of drives. Going back and watching it, a lot of them did continue to play hard. I just didn't think we played very smart at the end of it, so I was disappointed in that.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Players include tight end Jacob Warren and defensive tackle Rod Garland. Tomorrow we'll have assistants, running back coach Jerry Mack, linebacker coach Brian Jean Marie, and 3 additional players. But 2 players are sure. Good call. At least one of them. Okay, let me ask any questions.
Thank you. I'll hold it.
All right, we'll start player over today with Brock Garland. Please raise your hand for questions, and I'll call on you. We'll get you a mic. Who wants to get us started? Ben, we'll start with you.
Karat, obviously, you all struggled against the run on Saturday. Just what led to those struggles, especially when you went back and watched the film?
I think our game plan was sound, but I think, just the preparation and, the execution we had to do a lot better on.
Yeah, Coach was talking about, watching that last game and looking to the next game. I mean, how quickly do you turn your focus, and how much of a boost will you get back in Neyland Stadium when you play a team like Georgia?
I feel like, as soon as Monday comes, the switch flips on like that, now we're back to focusing on a new team, a different team. And I feel like, with it being a home game, our fans are going to be there, and they're going to be a really good, support for us coming out. So, and we're hoping to give them a good show, this coming Saturday.
Looking at the tape from Saturday, what went wrong? Heupel said y'all broke contain on Brady Cook at times. What let him run so easily on y'all?
Well, he was a phenomenal athlete. You know, their offense really relied really solely on him to make the majority of their plays. Again, it was just execution. You know, like some guys just weren't, you know, there at the right times, and that kind of led to, you know, him breaking the pocket, you know, creating explosive plays for us. So.
Carl, you've gone up against Georgia several times down your career, especially the last two games. What do you recall about those games and maybe the matchup and the challenge you guys have this week against their offense and their offensive line?
Yeah, I think that, you know, like Georgia's a pretty good team. You know, they're pretty tough, but, you know, I feel like, you know, if we can carry our mentality, you know, our focus, like more, like make sure that we're honed in into this next up and coming game, that we should be ready for them.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about, again, the home factor again and just the noise. And have you seen other teams have trouble communicating, and how much of an edge do you feel like that gives you?
Well, I feel like, you know, with how high the audio is, you know, like in the stadium, you know, definitely the fans like contribute a lot to that. And I feel like, you know, what with with that going on, like the offense really has to really force themselves to switch up their cadence. So they'll primarily probably try to stick to, you know, quarterback clap, you know.
Is that easier to keep for a lineman than cadence? I mean, do they give you guys an advantage if they've got a simplifier switch to that clap?
Well, I mean, it probably depends. Like, if it's more auditory, then yeah, it'll probably be some type of like, you know, like signal the like center will make some type of look in the backfield, and then the quarterback, you know, will probably snap it, some type of heel kick, but it all depends.
Anything else for Brian? All right, thanks. We'll have Jacob Ward here in just a second.
All right.
Thanks.
I don't even know we're writing. Not these size.
What's up? What's up, dude?
All right, we'll wrap that up for Jacob Warren. If you have any questions, we'll call on you. Ben, start with you again.
Jacob, just going into this week against a physical Georgia defense, what needs to change in the run game for you all that wasn't there on Saturday to reestablish the run?
Yeah, truly just matching the surge, man, matching the energy that those guys are coming off the ball with. I think it's something that we've handled pretty well all year long, is being able to handle the physicality, being able to just go out there and move people, right? Not winning every single one-on-one, because we all know that that's unrealistic in this game, but just understanding, you know, our angles on our double teams and understanding the footwork that needs to be taken for different techniques, and being able to adapt 3 down, 4 down. You know, they get in and out of a lot of different things with their front and with the guys that they have. So, yeah, those things will help us for sure.
Austin.
Jacob, your career is dwindling down. You got 2 home games left. Is there, as an older guy, as a 6th-year guy, is there urgency to maybe, I'm not saying not be yourself, but at the same time push everybody, knowing that, you know, hey, these are my last 2 shots inside Neyland?
For sure. Yeah, I think, you know, if you go about your business the right way and you handle things and you treat people the right way, I think that people naturally kind of feel that. I think that people want the best for for me, for other guys in my position and the older guys on the team, the guys that are not going to be here next year, I think that, especially in my room, they're definitely, not that they do anything special or do anything different, but there is a level of urgency that you kind of want to have for those guys that are leaving the program. So yeah, I think for myself as well is you kind of got to capitalize on these next 2 weeks, just because I'm not going to be able to play on that grass, after this year. So why not go out, the best I can.
Mike, and then Sam.
Yeah, Jacob, I know you guys don't pay a whole lot of attention to social media, but Knoxville, football's kind of inescapable.
Sure.
I feel like guys are maybe prematurely writing you guys off. I mean, you guys were beating Alabama and Tuscaloosa by 2 touchdowns 3 weeks ago. I mean, how do you feel rolling into an opportunity game like this?
Man, truly every single week, all that matters is this week, right? And I think that the guys within this program have done a really good job of understanding that, it doesn't, really matter what's being said on the outside. I've said it before, right? We don't care what people say about us, and I've recently had talks with a lot of my people and stuff, and like we do care what people think, right? We do care about people think of us as players, people think of us as just people. But at the end of the day, is am I able to focus on what matters and be able to set my eyes on the goal, and that's to win this week. So regardless of whether we were up against Bama or whether we what we should have done against Missouri or whoever, it's just about going out there and putting our best foot forward this week.
After Brew went down, you talked about how it was on you and the rest of the tight ends group to kind of take some of that responsibility. Now, unfortunately, Dante out for the season, Coach just announced. How does that affect the offense, especially the passing game?
Yeah, I think it affects it just in a way of those guys are the guys that, you've leaned on, the guys that you've trusted for, all the preseason, and then you get in the season, and again, you lose a guy like Brew, and now you're leaning on guys like Dante. And now you can't lean on Dante anymore because Dante's not playing for us. So it's just a matter of trusting that next man up. I think that, again, in this game, there's going to be times where you're going to be called upon, and there's going to be an opportunity for a younger wide receiver or a guy with less experience to step up and fill that role. And again, we have the utmost confidence that he'll be able to do it just because we know how we prepare and we know how, that room handles their business. And I know that the other guys in that room, even Brew and Dante, the ones that aren't able to play, are going to, bring that guy along and just help him develop into what he needs to be for the team.
I think you had 3 catches last year when you played against Georgia. And I know it changes, but can you give me some idea as a tight end, what you might see against the matchup zone in terms of how they cover tight ends? I mean, is it safeties? Is it linebackers? Do you usually have a pretty good read pre-snap?
Being totally honest, I don't remember. Again, each week, super individual. So, starting today, I'll go in and watch the film, and we'll see how they guard us. We'll see how they've guarded tight ends in the past that are similar to, our skill level and our skill set and kind of the routes that we run and the different things. And it'll just be a matter of, watching the film and being able to understand my opponent better than he knows me, and hopefully get the opportunities to go out there and make plays. End of the day is we'll do whatever needs to be done. I think that's kind of been the motto of the tight end group this year, is just being the guys that, whatever we're called upon to do is we're going to go do it to the best of our ability.
Anything else for Jacob? All right, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, sir.